And Village Board, we are live.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Today is December 15th, 2023. Today is our regular Board of Trustees meeting, so if I can ask everybody to stand, we'll do a pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we have a full house today, a lot on the agenda, so I have a few announcements I need to make, and then we'll start getting into the meetings. I ask you, if you're speaking at public comment, please keep your comments to 3 minutes. We have a lot of presentations, and we have a lot of people who might want to speak, so it would be nice if we could all get that in and be courteous. All right, so I just want to, a couple of announcements. December 2nd, we had a terrific holiday event in the village. It started off with Santa arriving by a helicopter, but unfortunately the helicopter couldn't fly because of the fog, so he arrived by police escort. He was escorted to the Guild Hall where the parade started. He got into his sleigh, and off Santa went with the parade. At the same time, we had a holiday market going on in front of Village Hall, and we had a free movie for all kids. I think 1,000 kids came to the movie. We had over 2,000 people showed up for the helicopter arrival. And then we had ice skating that was sponsored by the Hunting Inn for little kids over there. It was really, that was so fun. And then we had the tree lighting, which took place on Gay Lane across from Amadon Gay Insurance, and we had Neil Patrick Harris there to light the tree with us. So we had it was a great day. The weather was cooperative, and it was a lot of fun, and it was attended by a lot of people. So we hope to continue that in the future. It's the first year we've done everything in one day, and I think it was a big success because we had big turnouts for everything we were doing. Last year was our first year that we did discounted beach permits for town residents. We're going to do it again this year. It'll be held on January 23rd from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. It'll take place at the Emergency Services Building at 1 Cedar Street. And the permits will be on sale for $500 per piece, as opposed to the $750, which will go on sale February 1st. So it's we sold out last year. It was very popular, and we invite all town residents to come and get those permits. You can go online on our website, and you can view the necessary documents you need to present that day. So that'll speed things up for us if you have all that. The basketball courts that are dedicated to Roy Lee Mabry have opened in Herrick Park. They're not quite finished. We have to paint them in the spring. We can't paint them because the weather's a little too cold. So in the spring, we will officially dedicate them to the family, and we will have them painted, and they're absolutely beautiful. I think that's it. Oh, we have a very special retirement taking place of Pam Bennett, who's been our village clerk for 44 years. Wow. She's retiring at the end of this month. We asked her numerous times to come here so we could give her her dedication, and we're so happy for her, but she refused to come. Absolutely refused to come, and what am I going to do? Can't discipline her now. So we're doing it at Village Hall at 2 p.m. We're going to close Village Hall at 2 o'clock, have a farewell little party for her with all the employees and our appointed boards, and it should be very nice. And her family's coming, so it'll be a nice event. But we wish she could have been here to publicly publicly announce her retirement. She's been, I've known her. I started with the village in 1983, and she was here before me. So I've known her all that time, and she's just a wonderful person. So we're going to miss her. She's done a great job for the village. Thank you, Pam. All right, next up, roll call. Oh, what did I forget?
Mayor Jerry Larson.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Chris Minardi.
Here.
Trustee Sandra Melendez has an excused absence. Trustee Carrie Doyle.
Here.
Trustee Sarah Amadon.
Here.
Administrator Marcos Balladrone.
Here.
Village Attorney Timothy Hill.
Here.
All right, I have one more public announcement. I'm going to turn it over to the Deputy Mayor.
The Polar Bear Plunge will be on January 1st at Main Beach at What time, Big John?
We plunge at 1, get there early.
They plunge at 1, get there early, and
You got to register, yes.
absolutely. And how do we register?
Well, you can register online,
Okay.
but you can register that day. Everybody doesn't register online like they should, but getting there early gets you in, because we will plunge at 1 o'clock.
Okay, so you can register at Main Beach early or online at, is it HLA or what's the website?
Should I do it? But
Google, if you Google
East Hampton Village,
East Hampton Village Food Pantry.
East Hampton Food Pantry website.
Okay. Okay.
You know, John's going to be up in a minute to probably tell us all that, right? Okay. So I'm going to move the agenda around a little bit. If you have an agenda, we're not going to stick to it just because of the number of people that are here. I want people to be able to get back to school, hopefully, or jobs, whatever the case may be. So next up, I'm going to have Hugh step up.
Sure, I could wait if you want to.
Well, everybody loves to hear you, so you should.
Yeah. Sorry you said that. All right, I want to thank you for inviting.
It's educational all by itself.
Yes. I want you to thank you for inviting all these people to hear me talk today. All right, Pam Bennett, if you're listening at home, Pam, Pam deserves an awful lot of credit. She was in my 5th grade class and my 6th grade class, and she survived, okay? And the other thing, I'm getting very nervous because this is the 3rd former spring school student who has retired from the village before me. All right. It's 1979 when Pam shows up to work. There was a tax increase in the village in 1979, Mr. Mayor. 2-hour parking at the train station was discussed. There was a gas shortage in 1979. The Design Review Board was formed in 1979. Grey Gardens was sold to Sally Quinn and Ben Bradley for, who wants to make a guess? How much?
$2 million.
$2 million. Do I hear more? Do I hear less?
Probably less.
$225,000. Wow. How about that? And they were thinking about closing the middle school. The village taxpayers in 1979 approved the purchase of the Sea Spray property. Fred Yardley was hired to manage Main Beach. The East Hampton School District was on austerity in 1979. The Highway Department was to move into new quarters. Now, Pam Bennett has outlasted 4 police chiefs, 2 superintendents of highways, 3 mayors, and Fred Varity. She's outlasted 6 fire chiefs, numerous members of the village planning board, zoning board, and design review boards, and Fred Varity. She's outlasted 7 different village board members, 4 different workers at Home Sweet Home Museum, and Fred Varity. Okay? And the other reason, Pam, that 1979 is really special, that's the year I met Loretta O'Ryan.
Very nice, you. You, are you going to be in attendance at 2 o'clock?
Well,
Yes, please. You need you to say that again.
okay.
That's great. So, John, would you mind stepping up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. John's going to be quick, and then we'll get into the Surf Rider.
You might know I'm Big Bad John Ryan. I wear many hats. I'm very involved with lifeguard training along with Bruce Smith. You know, and if I ever come to the board to speak to the board, not only this board but the town board, I have to say thank you, because the support we get, Drew, am I right? The support we get for what we do, all right, and what we do, Hampton Lifeguard Association started all these training programs, but we want to waterproof the South Fork on Long Island. And when you mentioned Roy Mayberry, Roy Mayberry drowned at 16. And the town put a dock out, a raft out. Roy went out to that raft at low tide, and then coming back in, the tide came up, and in among his friends, all right, he drowned. A tragic, tragic thing. And so we don't want that to happen. And thank God, with all our training programs, we have waterproof the South Fork. But this is different. This is celebrating the new year. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. And what better way, and we have discovered, if you want to have a nice day, come down to Main Beach and either watch or plunge, all right? And I wear this because when I go in the water, I stick it on my head and it actually sticks because I have a pointed head. So I am the head plunger, okay? And it benefits the food pantry. I'll give you a little history, all right? In 1999, the seafood shop, to this day, is still running their plunge. And by the way, our plunge supports the East Hampton Food Pantry. The Wainscott plunge supports the Seg Harbor Food Pantry. All right, and we coordinate with Colin, Ocean Rescue, and Village Guards guard our plunge, and then we send Ocean Rescue members to guard the plunges at Wainscott. So, but Johnny and I, my son John, who is we're both lifeguard training coordinators. He gets wet, I don't. I get wet on New Year's Day, but not many other times. But anyway. We plunge, and Johnny says, "Hey, Dad, let's challenge the Hurricane swim team to plunge." And we started the Hurricane swim team in Indian Wells, and we plunged. And all of a sudden, Main Beach, Eddie McDonald is working there. "Hey, John, come on down. Let's do it at Main Beach." And John, why can't we really make this a great event for the food pantry? And we got a hold of Mary Ann Tupper in Southampton, who had started their plunge. And they told us, if you charge and give a hat and whatever, you make a lot of money. And right now, this plunge is the chief fundraiser for the food pantry.
Wow.
It'll bring in maybe $20,000 if we all go and give money. And you don't have to plunge. Just buy a shirt or a hat or and make a contribution to the food pantry. So thank you. And I hope I didn't talk more than 3 minutes.
No, you're good, John. You're good.
Any questions? All right? It's going to be tricky to park. The earlier you get there, the better. The weather will be good. We got soup and coffee and hot chocolate for the plungers and for everybody, and enjoy yourself.
How many people did we have last year there?
God knows. All right? And by the way, the village board is all promised. I mean, Jerry and
I planned my vacation around this.
warmer weather. But I know Sarah's going to be there, right?
I'll be there.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right. And Marcos, I don't know about Marcos.
Marcus is going to be in Florida.
No, Marcos and I plan our vacations around
Yeah,
your event.
exactly right.
Come get it started.
Plunge at Palm Beach.
God
Not
bless you.
plunging in,
God bless you.
but we support it. You know, I was going to have the surf riders go next, but I'm going to skip that because I think this is another important presentation I would like everybody here to hear, in case you don't watch LTV. But Mary, Chief Mott from our ambulance, could you step up?
Okay, last Memorial Day weekend, May 31st, we stand by for the parade, we stand by for the awards ceremony that they have there.
Mary, I think you got to, because of the cameras, I think you got to face
Okay,
the podium.
All right. And,
Mary, you got to face us, because I don't think you'll be on the camera, and I don't think anybody will hear you.
There you go.
Sorry.
all right. And so at that time, we had a veteran, Jim Gledhill, who was experiencing a medical emergency. And at the time, the ambulance was right there. His daughter called 911. We had a very quick response. It was a call of a serious nature, and we got him to Southampton, and all is well. And he was aware that he was indeed having a very difficult problem with his heart. And he woke up in CCU, wondering what happened, and they told him the story. And actually, here he is today doing quite well. So we had a wonderful call.
Do you want to say anything, John? Come on up. This way everybody can hear, because it's going to be on LTV, so.
Part of the story is that I did fight with my daughter about going to the hospital, okay? And I'm glad that she won and they won. They did, I have to say that the response was great. I've been on ambulances for 44 years. That was the fastest one I've ever seen. I was taken out of my car, put on the stretcher, put in the ambulance. Paramedic said, you're having a heart attack. And my brain was saying, tell me what I don't know. Anyway, she did a magnificent job. The entire crew did a magnificent job. I still don't know who their names are, but they did a tremendous job. And I'm thankful for that. I'm standing here in front of you guys and that. So everybody was professional. So you can't complain there. And I used to ride with the Springs ambulance, and and presently I'm the safety officer down up there. And I'm very grateful for whatever they did. I didn't wake up until Wednesday morning.
Wow.
But I survived.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great news. Thank you. I think the crew was Chief Mott, Assistant Chief Mary Ellen McGuire,
Barbara Hanson.
EMT Barbara Hanson,
Our paramedic, Liv Hamilton.
Liv Hamilton, who is now a nurse at Southampton Hospital.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, when she said, I'm going to give you some medicine, it'll make you sleepy, I said, fine, okay. Well, I was okay with that. And
Yeah.
the next thing I know, the last words out of my mouth was to tell Mary Ellen to get the ambulance moving. That's because I was always in the back.
Well, it's a great story. I'm glad you're with us, and thank your professional crew for everything they did, and I applaud you all. Thank you. That's a story we really love to hear. That's one of the doesn't happen that often, as you know.
One caveat to that is my granddaughter is happy that her grandfather's still walking
Yeah.
around.
Well, we're happy too. Thank you. All right, next up is going to be the Surf Rider presentation, but first I'm just going to have the background of this. I'm going to ask the Deputy Mayor to speak about it.
Okay, hi, good morning, everybody. A really quick background, I think, can be traced to the summer I was invited to a really good seminar benefit for Surf Rider. My friend Christina Blasin and her colleagues Jenna. It was a really special event, but it opened my eyes to what's happening in this country, in this world with plastics. And so I took some of my feelings back. I had a good discussion with Trustee Sarah Amidon, where she's been working on this type of project before she was even elected here to Village Board. And so it kind of marinated into a proposal to bring that to East Hampton Village. Again, with some really great conversations and work with Surf Rider, we've made it to here today. So right now, Surf Rider is going to present an initiative that already passed in Manhattan. It's called Skip the Stuff. It's a real thing, and they do it in New York City, along with a proposal of how the village can move forward and be the leading area of not only this recycling, less garbage, and really protecting our environment, because that's what it's really all about. I mean, this country is having a very bad plastic problem. It's everywhere. It's in our waters. It's causing cancer, and we're not even using this garbage. I mean, it's really, it's ridiculous. But I know that Jenna and Christina and Jen, who's the other one? Christine, I'm sorry. They present this much better than I do, so I thank you so much for being here, and I would really like to see the village embrace stronger stance on plastic. So you're welcome to give your presentation now, Christine. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having us, for listening to us, and for working with us, more importantly. I'm Christine Capelli. I'm the Vice Chair of Surf Rider East Hampton, Eastern Long Island chapter, and we are a volunteer organization that participates in the community in several programs, such as Blue Water Task Force, which monitors water quality, puts out a weekly report. We also do ocean-friendly gardens right down here on Methodist Lane, the Bioswell, and what we're here to talk about today, which is our Rise Above Plastics Committee. And As, should I be fast forwarding or?
Yeah, just tell, his name is Jody. You could just tell him, Jody, next slide.
Oh, okay. Jody, 2 slides, please, ahead. We already said hello. Yes, so I don't need to reiterate, plastic pollution is everywhere. Chris just mentioned it, and it's not hard to see. We're a coastal community. We see it at all of our waterways, all of our beaches, as we use them for recreation, for tourism, and even for fishing industry. So it's an increasingly important problem that we need to pay attention to. But why is it such a problem? Only 9% of plastics that are produced are recycled in the curbside programs, leaving 12% to be incinerated, which is a whole other issue, and a staggering 79% ends up in our landfills and our environments. So said just a little bit differently, that's roughly 2/3 of the plastics produced today that are ending up in our environment. So it's not hard to see how we have such an increasing problem. Next slide, please. So the Eastern Long Island chapter of Surfrider, one of the other things that we do is beach cleanups. We've been doing these since 2019 on over 158 beaches across Eastern Long Island, and right here in East Hampton. And what we do is meticulously record the data of what we're picking up. So every piece of trash that we're picking up, we're counting it and figuring out what it is. And what we've realized is that 67% of it is coming from food-related items, or is food-related items. To break that down just a little bit more, in the 4 years that we're noting and picking up trash, it's over 1,400 pieces of stuff from all of our beaches and our waterways, such as 687 plastic utensils. We're all familiar, we get those little packs, our forks, our knives, our spoons all packaged up for us. We're picking those up. We're picking up plastic stirrers, about over 300 of those, over 300 paper napkins, and then 67 wooden stirrers. And this is just a sampling of what we've covered, but again, just to illustrate the point of the increasing problem that's right here that we're seeing as we're out there picking up the trash from the beaches. Next slide, please. And it's a very costly problem. We know for restaurants that are just taking those prepackaged items, popping them into the bags, going away for the consumers. For the restaurants, it's costly because they're ordering them at bulk. They're just handing them out. This is an expense to them. For the customers, it's costly because now they're burdened with it. They may use some of it, they may use none of it. They're left to decide, do I stash this in my drawer? We all have that drawer at home. Or do I toss it? And which we just talked about, it won't get recycled. So it will likely end up in a landfill in our environment. And then lastly, what this does is just build to the ever-growing pollution crisis that we have. It's littering our streets, our parks, our waterways, and eventually the oceans, and entering into our food chain. Next slide, please. So to borrow the words, as Chris mentioned, this is passed in New York City with the help of a few different organizations. So I borrowed some of their words because it said so eloquently. Why not? Why not just keep repeating it? Imagine, no more single-use stuff when you sit down to eat. Cafes that encourage you to bring a reusable cup. Takeout and delivery that asks if you request utensils and condiments. No more drawers of unneeded plastic forks. In East Hampton Village, this is our mission. We can do this. So, next slide, please. We're asking for a skip the stuff ordinance that would require all East Hampton Village restaurants to ban the use of single-use plastics. Next slide, please. This is a big ask, both in its impact, but also in how we get there. We recognize that. So what we're proposing is a phased approach. So the first phase would be similar to New York City, provide those single-use takeout items only upon request. So this is something, a behavior we're all getting used to as we go into the stores and they ask us, do you want a bag? It would be very similar to that. We're taking and using what we need. And then the second phase, we see that as enforcing the existing ban on polystyrene and plastic straws, and in adding to it the single-use takeaway service items. And then lastly, the most ambitious phase would be a complete ban of all plastic foodware associated with off-premise dining. So it's a benefit to all. It's a cost-saving benefit. We've seen it in other cases across the country where it can be a cost-saving benefit to the operations. It's a benefit to the consumers. They're getting what they need, and we know about 98% of takeaway is consumed either in an office or a home somewhere where there are utensils available. And it's a win for all of us. It's a benefit to our environment. And again, as a coastal community, that's something that we can't take too lightly. And thank you. That's our
that's very good. Thank
presentation.
you.
That's our ask.
Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to be heard on this presentation? Because I know we have a lot of people here that are in support of this, so if anyone would like to step up and speak about just this issue. Thanks.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Lilo Garneau, and I'm here on behalf of the East Hampton High School's Environmental Club today. So each year, as I'm a senior in high school now, and I've been involved with the Environmental Club, we strive to help out with greening the community, which we come at from many different angles. And I'd like to share that this past summer, I, along with many other students, participated with Rewild Long Island and focus on composting and promoting biodiversity. But now our tides have shifted towards this very important campaign, which Jenna has reached out to our club, and we had a meeting with her not too long ago. And this now falls into your hands to help greening the community. I encourage you to help us, as I'm here representing the youth demographic of environmental advocates, as we are the generation who will have to face the calamity of climate change. Enforcing the Skip the Stuff campaign will be a great support in our effort to further these greening goals as one whole community. Although this campaign may seem minute, the small steps in the right direction can hold effects beyond anything all of us can imagine. And I just like to share that just a few days ago, Sutton Lynch, who was an East Hampton High School graduate, came and spoke to all of us about his videography. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it. And he takes videos of the resurgence of marine life on the East Coast. And all of that came from one law that limited overfishing. And there's just all of the East Coast has seen this resurgence. And I thought that kind of related to this because it's something so minute and something so small that can have such a big impact. So I encourage you all to start the ripple effect and let the change start here.
Great. Thank you.
Nice. Well done.
Anyone else?
Thank you. My name is Mara Diaz. I live in the town of East Hampton, not too far from here. I've been a member of the local chapter of the Surfrider Foundation for over 20 years now. One of my daughters, Kiana, is a member of the Girl Scout Troop 367, who's here today. Both organizations are committed to making the East End, our community, a better and healthier place to live, work, and play. This troop has been focused almost entirely on community service in recent years, and I'm really proud of the growing and clearly visible impact that Surfrider is having here in East Hampton with our beautiful ocean-friendly garden bioswales in the greens, by sharing water quality information with the public and decision makers like you throughout the year, and by removing trash from our beaches and advocating for policies that will keep trash and pollution off the beach and out of the water. East Hampton Village has been a great partner in many of these endeavors. In fact, while those gardens in the village were designed to remove pollution from stormwater and road runoff, like sediment and nutrients, what we didn't expect, although we probably should have, is all the plastic trash that gets caught up in those plants. Straws, bottle tops, cigarette butts, unused condiment packets, forks, and candy wrappers. Every year, the Girl Scouts help us clean out this trash that the garden's helping to keep out of Hook Pond and the ocean. But we can all do better to keep it from getting there in the first place. We all know the harm that can happen when birds, fish, or all the amazing whales and dolphins that we love to watch now in our coastal waters during the summer, when they ingest or get tangled in plastic trash and debris. It's really heartbreaking. I'm asking the village trustees to take this opportunity to be a leader in helping combat the tide of plastic trash that's blighting the ocean and this beautiful place we all call home. Let's do more to leave East Hampton a healthier and more vibrant community for our children and to protect a clean and safe environment for our neighbors that live in the sea. please, work on and vote to support this Skip the Stuff bill. That first phase is certainly a common sense way to make a positive change for the environment and our community without putting a burden on local businesses. We really appreciate your time to work on this, and thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Good morning, East Hampton Village Board members and community members. Thank you for listening to us. My name is Sanjay Pingl. I'm a Montauk Town resident. I also serve on the board of a environmental nonprofit, the Ocean Conservancy, as the vice chairman. Today, however, I'm speaking to you as a resident of our town. I'll readily admit that I'm somebody who likes good food, and I appreciate and enjoy the variety of restaurants and cafes that we have in our town. What I don't appreciate is the unnecessary plastic that comes along with my orders when I forget to ask for them not to be included. Nationwide, more than 36 billion disposable utensils a year are given out in the U.S. That's enough to wrap around the globe 139 times. While these numbers can be overwhelming, the good news is that we have solutions. By simply flipping to an opt-in versus an opt-out model, we can make a huge dent in single-use plastic waste while saving restaurants money. Customers who want the extra items can still get them, they just have to ask. As you heard, and as I'm sure you're already aware, these single-use items are not recycled. They're either burned, buried, or littered. And as a frequent volunteer at the beach cleanups, I've picked up many single-use items from our town beaches. There are great examples of restaurants in our town that are already moving in this direction with no noticeable impact to their business. Joni's in Montauk and Naturally Good are two examples. When you pick up your order, you can also collect napkins, utensils, hot sauce, whatever else you want on your way out the door, but it's not automatically included in your order. I think all communities should be making plans like these, but especially ours. We're a coastal community that draws residents and visitors in because of the natural beauty of our ocean, our bays, and our beaches. We owe it to our natural environment to protect it. I hope the East Hampton Village Board will adopt and implement the Skip the Stuff bill. Thank you very much for your consideration.
I have two letters I'd like to read, and I'll just quickly tell you from myself. I am a citizen of East Hampton Town for over 40 years, and I thank you for this opportunity to address this issue. I'm also a member of Surfrider and have participated in many of the beach cleanups. I am Susan McGraw Keber. I'm an East Hampton Town trustee. Hi, Marco.
Hey, how are you?
And in addition to my trustee responsibilities, committee-wise, I have served on the Suffolk County Plastic Task Force with Suffolk County Legislator Cara Hahn on this very issue. And we created a poster so that restaurants would have it in their establishment and people could see and read, do you need utensils, do you want condiments? And so that was a very important committee, and I don't know if it's dissolved or not. At this time. I have also served on the East Hampton Town Litter and Renewable Energy Committee, and as a result, I have done many, many beach cleanups. And we know that the debris that's coming in from the ocean may be coming from someplace else, but also it's coming from our residents who, want to picnic on the beach and leave behind their lunch items and so forth. So I'm also a certified rescue diver, so I see what's going on in the ocean waters, and it's not pretty. It's really very discouraging, and I'm very attached to marine species, as we all are, and I see what has happened to so many of our fish and the dolphins and so forth. So I am here today to support the endeavor by Surfrider, and I would like to read a letter from the David Cataletto, who is a colleague of mine as a trustee, and he's also a teacher at the middle school. He sent a letter from his Surfrider Junior Club. Dear Village Board, the East Hampton Middle School Surfrider Club wants to show our support for Skip the Stuff. In the past year, our club has done beach cleanups on the ocean and bay beaches and always finds lots of plastic stuff like straws, forks, stirrers, etc. Over the last 4 years, our Eastern Long Island Surfrider chapter has together recorded data on 158 beach cleanups and have picked up over 1,424 pieces of takeout stuff. It's clear something needs to be done to decrease our use of single-use plastics, and the Skip the Stuff initiative is a step in the right direction. Please outlaw take-out food places from putting in utensils unless asked by the customer. Together we can make our beaches and waters cleaner and safer for ourselves and the sea creatures that live in them. Very best, East Hampton Middle School Surfrider Club. Mr. Cataletto, Hunter Harrington, Will Babinski, Annabelle Mamuzian, Francesca Cinci, Vicky Orellana, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing the names, this is a new letter to me, so Minnie Wasserstein, Samantha Bennett, Carl Gaitlin, Dylan Everett, Teddy Terrazos, Ruby Nugan, Sailor Canzalosi, Allie Davis, and Owen Diamond. So, when the children are educated about debris, they really, or anything, plastic balloons, Mylar balloons, they are the ones who come in home and tell their parents, no, I don't want these things. Let's not have them. Let's keep our marine species, our avian population free of debris. Then I reached out to Beyond Plastics. I'm also a supporter of Beyond Plastics, and I attend their webinars, and the founder is Judith Enck of the EPA. So this letter went to the East Hampton Star. East Hampton Village has the opportunity to join New York City, Los Angeles, Westchester County, and many other cities and towns nationwide who have adopted Skip the Stuff laws to reduce pollution from single-use plastics. The campaign, led by Surfrider Foundation's Eastern Long Island chapter, aims to prohibit local restaurants, bars, and other food purveyors from automatically putting disposable utensils, condiment packets, napkins, and stirrers into takeout orders, and instead make them available only when a customer requests them. This is a win-win. It's good for the environment, and it will save restaurants a modest amount of money. If your kitchen is like mine, and the author of this letter is Jenny Gitlitz, and I'll just tell you a little bit about her. She's Beyond Plastics, but she writes, you have more ketchup packets and plastic forks and spoons than you know what to do with. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff doesn't stay in our kitchen drawers. It ends up littered on streets, parks, and beaches. Some of the litter ends up in storm drains and eventually the ocean. There it breaks up into smaller and smaller pieces and is eaten by unwitting birds, fish, and other marine life. In May, scientists reported that seabirds' digestive tracts were being damaged by ingesting plastics and gave the disease a new disturbing name, plasticosis. Plastic is made from fossil fuels and petrochemicals, and when it gets fragmented by ocean waves, sunlight and air cause the plastic pieces to emit methane, ethylene, and carbon dioxide, potent greenhouse gases. In 2021, Beyond Plastics published a report, The New Coal, Plastics and Climate Change, which documented that greenhouse gas emissions from the production, use, and disposal of plastics is responsible for the same amount of greenhouse gas emitted by 116 average-size U.S. coal plants. Tiny pieces of plastic called microplastics are showing up in human blood, lungs, breast milk, and even the placenta. Chemical additives in these plastics may have had adverse effects on the endocrine hormone system. And the problem is getting worse, not better. Unless new laws are adopted to change course, global plastic waste is expected to triple by 2060. Why such a dramatic increase? As we finally make some headway reducing the amount of fossil fuel used for transportation and power plants, the fossil fuel industry sees its profits at risk. Increasing plastic production is their plan B. An estimated 50% of all plastics are single-use, used once and then thrown away. This one, Skip the Stuff proposal, won't solve the plastic crisis by itself, but it's an important step that will result in less unsightly litter in East Hampton and will serve as a model for other communities on Long Island. And to learn more, she asked that people attend this meeting for Skip the Stuff event, and signed Jenny Gitlitz, Director of Solutions to Plastic Pollution, Beyond Plastics. And that's it. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Anyone else? I'm just going to remind, if you just do 3 minutes, that would be great when it's your turn.
I'll be brief.
I know you were speaking for 3 people, so
Thank you, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
No, you're fine.
I did let you know.
There's just a lot of people here, and we have a lot. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
Hi, I'm Christina Blasin. I'm a former volunteer for the Eastern Long Island chapter of Surfrider. I'm so grateful to see so many familiar faces here. I'm also a board member now of the Surfrider Foundation and a community member. Not to be redundant, I'm going to sort of change some of my notes, but what I wanted to share with all of you is that on any given day, you can see my family, my children, my husband, and I walking on the beaches of Main Beach, surfing in the ocean with so many surfers who are here today, and recreating in one of the most beautiful places we've ever been to in our lives. And we're so fortunate to have that. During our beach cleanups, the thing that we notice most, and I think new volunteers are really surprised by, is in a small square foot space, the amount of microplastics you will find is mind-boggling. And if you understand how plastic is recycled, you realize that actually it can't ultimately be recycled. It might be reused once or twice, but after that it gets broken down into small pieces and into forever chemicals that are winding up in the fish that we're eating, the water that we're drinking, and the soil where we're growing food. And it's so rare that you have a simple solution to a super complex problem. And Skip the Stuff is a really simple solution. It doesn't harm our businesses, and it offers a really significant dent in the 40 billion, and that is billion, plastic utensils that wind up in our landfills each year. And I want to say how grateful I am and touched that all of you hear the cry of all of us and our children for a better future, and how collaborative you've been in this process. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Tom Cooper's been wanting to come up.
Stand right up.
Tom? No. Tom Cooper. Tom Cooper.
Hey guys.
Hi.
I'm Tom Cooper. I'm a lifelong resident, multi-generational resident of East Hampton. I've worked for the Village of East Hampton since I was 16 as a lifeguard. And I own a shop in the Village of East Hampton. I'm probably the only person here that's going to be affected by what we're talking about. So I am not educated on what your proposal is. I heard about this 2 days ago. Thank you, Sarah. So I'm more here to get some information on what you guys want to do. I do want to say, though, when we talk about plastics, I want to make sure I educated myself what I want to do before I started the store. So I went out, I made sure that the spoons we were going to get were plant-based. We only hand them out from behind the counter. So I think we conform already to what you guys want to do. But we do have plastics, and I just want to make sure we're clear on what we're talking about when we talk about plastic, though. So this plastic cup is a normal plastic cup you can get probably in most stores, right? And it costs about $4,300 for me to get an order of this, okay? This is the plastic cup that we chose consciously, all right? And you can read the bottom of it. It's certified compostable, sorry. So it breaks down within 2 to 3 months, they say. I don't know everything, but it says that they can break down 2 to 3 months in a landfill. This cost me $10,600. So I'm just making sure that you guys understand the ramifications for different business owners, what they're going to do, right? I think we comply with what you guys want to do now, and I don't think I'm going to be as affected, so I'm okay with that. By the way, and everybody here wants the environment to do it. Nobody here is going to say, I'm all for plastics, but I have to think about how to best serve the customer as well. My only problem I hear a little bit is also some of the other plastics. So we have plastic straws as well. And I specifically got plastic straws. I saw the information, and somebody just brought up the fact that there are forever chemicals in plastics. Yes. Paper straws, there are 90% of paper straws have forever chemicals as well that cause cancer. So testicular cancer, kidney cancers are all in paper straws. I made the conscious decision to use a recyclable or a compostable, and I'm saying the word probably wrong, plastic. And I found there are agave straws. I did my research, is what I'm saying. And I found that the plastic straw that breaks down within 2 to 3 months is supposedly the best for you and I and for my customers and for everybody else. If I'm wrong in that, I'm glad to be educated on it. But I guess, again, I was not informed of what this was about. I'm just here to kind of say, like, think about what you're doing before you go out and just say, we're banning all plastic. Because, the question would be, are you going to go Stop and Shop and say you can't sell a bottle of Coke? And that's fine if you guys say that. You can only sell aluminum Coke, can or whatever. Right. But can I not sell a bottle of water? I don't know. Like, you have to think about all of these little things that when you make a ruling or a law, think about the pragmatic situation that everybody has plastic, everybody's using it. You have it on your glasses, everybody's got it on their shoes. It's around us. It's unfortunate, but that's what we're using, petroleum-based products. And I think we have to think about moving forward on a pragmatic way of not having stuff on our beaches. As I said, I was a lifeguard for a long time. I still am. I don't want to see stuff on my beach. So how do we do that in the best way? That's all.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, guys.
Sit down.
Anyone else like to speak? David? Good morning.
David Cans. I'm an East Hampton Village resident for about 25 years and a village and a town resident for another 20. I'm listening to this conversation about plastics, and again, I think it's a great idea. But I think we perhaps look at some other alternatives. Bamboo, for instance, is recyclable, reusable, and I think we need to clearly differentiate between what's recyclable and what's recycled, which a lot of cases they're not one and the same. I think it's a wonderful idea, and I'm just I support this. And just one other consideration is we all need to understand that 85% of all electricity in Long Island is generated by fossil fuels. Now the wind farms may power 70,000 homes, but there's 1.1 million LIPA customers or PSE&G customers. You just have to take that into consideration. That's it.
Thank you.
If I could add something, is that the bamboo and wooden utensils, I believe they're labeled as readily biodegradable. And Christina or Jenna, you correct me if I'm wrong. And those are absolutely acceptable, and I'm in very much favor of that type of alternate. So, yes, David, that'd be great.
I think next was Gloria.
Hello. Oh, is this someone's phone?
Oh, it's my phone.
Great. I'm so thrilled to stand up here and see that no one's got plastic bottles or plastic cups or plastic forks in front of them. Thank you very much. I always show up with my green metal water bottle and, anyway. I'm here. Oh, Gloria Fry, East Hampton Village. I'm also on the East Hampton Towns Energy and Sustainability Committee, and this is thanks to your lead. I'm also going to bring this to the committee's meeting on Monday afternoon because this is such an important plan, proposal, ordinance that we all need to be looking at for the beauty. This is why people come here. This is one of the reasons why we live here. This is why we are in this community, and this really is the community. I'm also East Hampton Compost, as you all know, and it's been in the town this past summer. I'm hoping to also have a location in the village. And when we're talking about plastics, I sorted through about 3,000 pounds of food scraps this year. The number one contaminant is plastics. So this is what's going from our food into our soils, into our water. So it's all connected, and we have things we can do at home, in our restaurants, in our businesses that really, really make a difference. So how can we have healthy soil sheds, healthy watersheds, healthy waters, and a healthy community? It's all tied together. So thank you for bringing this to the table and bringing all these people. Surfrider rocks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Hi, my name is Tracy Early. I'm just here to share the sixth graders at Amagansett School did some research to support Surfriders, the Skip the Stuff proposal, and I'm here to share what they came up with, and they made posters. 10 million tons of plastic is dumped in our oceans annually. That's equal to more than a garbage truckload every minute. 1 million marine animals are killed by plastic pollution every year. 90% of plastic is made from fossil fuels, and only 9% of plastic produced is recycled. 70% of beach litter worldwide is plastic, and plastic waste makes up 80% of all marine pollution. In 2019, an estimated 368 million tons of plastic was produced globally. We eat about 40 pounds of plastic in a lifetime. 52% of sea turtles worldwide have accidentally eaten plastic. 20% of fish found during recent expeditions show plastic in their stomachs. 90% of seabirds eat plastics, mistaking it for food. 10 million tons of plastic dumped in the ocean annually. There will be more plastic in our ocean, maybe I'm not sure, than something by 2050. At least 14 million tons of plastic ends up in the ocean every year. Marine animals are killed by plastic pollution every year. There are more than 5.25 trillion macro and micro pieces of plastic in the ocean. Finally, 60% of all fish we eat includes microplastics. 12 million tons of plastic finds its way into the ocean every year, and 100 million marine animals die from plastic waste every year.
Do you want, this is televised on
Okay.
LTV, and the camera's there. If you want to just hold up each sign so they can get a shot of it, all that hard work that these kids did, would be nice if they could see it on LTV. So the camera's right there. If you just hold it up, I think they'll get a shot of it. That's perfect. So if you can hold up each one, then hopefully when the kids
they
watch
worked
it, they'll
hard.
see it.
They're actually going to do a presentation on it at their school assembly next week.
Oh,
as
very
well.
nice.
This is the last one.
That's
Okay.
terrific.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very much.
caring and for your time.
Anyone else? Bye, John. Bye, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to sound like a bit of a broken record, but my name is Victoria Jinsky. I'm a current student at Stony Brook University studying environmental studies, and I'm a volunteer for Surfrider Foundation. I worked with the Surfrider Foundation all summer as an intern. I worked on our various projects like beach cleanups, our ocean-friendly restaurants, and one project in particular where I wrote and researched a lot about a blog focused on microplastic pollution and using plastic alternatives. So plastic pollution, as we all know, has become a global crisis, negatively affecting our oceans, wildlife, and ecosystems. Not only this, but producing plastic utensils require a lot of energy and releases a lot of carbon emissions and does even more damage to our environment. And let's face it, I use plastic, you use plastic, like we're not going to ignore this thing. It's a part of our lives now. We drink $5 coffee with a paper cup, and our vegetables come in plastic wrap. Like we're not trying to ignore this. Even when we try to be more conscious of plastic use, we still need it. But one huge source of pollution is coming from restaurants. Through this Gift the Stuff bill, customers should have the option to opt into these plastic utensils, napkins, and condiments. These things often get thrown away, as everyone has mentioned, and even when we try to use these compostable alternatives, it usually means that they're commercially compostable, which means that it's even more of a cost to, if a restaurant does want to compost these things, it's even more of a cost to go out of the way to properly compost these things and to make an environmental consciousness about these things. It's hard to make these large changes towards making a better environment. That's why we kind of need these smaller changes and these phases to make a better environment for everyone. This measure contributes a lot to a cleaner and healthier environment and makes restaurants save a little bit along the way. And already so many towns on the East End have been heading in the right direction with things like the Mylar balloon bans and plastic bag bans. I've personally lived on Long Island my whole life. I've actually lived on the North Fork my whole life, and the only thing that I want to do with my life is to protect the ocean and the environment that I grew up in, that I grew so fond of growing up. I never really want to leave, and I'm sure many in this room want to do the same. But by passing the Skip the Stuff bill, East Hampton Village has an opportunity to lead the fight against unnecessary waste. We're heading in the right direction and to set an example for others to follow, like maybe for others on the North Fork. And I hope the East Hampton Village Board of Trustees will adopt and implement the Skip the Stuff bill.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. I want to keep this brief, so I just want to talk about two things, my own experience and then why it's so important to pass Skip the Stuff. So my name is Brian Shaw, and I'm currently a student at Stanford University studying the environment and sustainability. I come here as a lifelong Long Island surfer, an East Hampton Town certified ocean lifeguard, and a member of the Surfrider Foundation. I love the beach, and I'm called to protect it. Last summer, I worked for the Surfrider Foundation's Eastern Long Island chapter. One of my main responsibilities was helping maintain the bioswales at the heart of the village, on the village green and next to Methodist Lane, which, without fail, would always have single-use plastic items in them. These items make their way onto our beaches and into the oceans. I see it every time I'm out there surfing and every time I'm lifeguarding. We have the numbers from our beach cleanups to back up these claims, and it's time to stop this problem at the source. This proposed Skip the Stuff legislation is the best possible way to do that. While environmentally forward policies are often associated with added effort and costing a lot of money, this proposed legislation is the exact opposite. It saves businesses money while taking the responsibility off of customers to either save or throw out unneeded utensils, condiments, and napkins. Some legislation is just common sense. New York City has already adopted these measures, as previously mentioned, so there is no better time for East Hampton Village to enact this change. This will undoubtedly continue the energy across the state and country to do away with the overbearing amount of these items that we receive daily that we don't even need. We are a coastal community that attracts people to some of the most pristine beaches in the world. We owe it to our natural environment to protect it. Let's start taking the steps today to ensure a clean and healthy environment for the future. I strongly support the adoption of this Skip the Stuff legislation. It's a favor to your residents, businesses, and the environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Hello, and thanks for having us here today. My name is Jen Sparrow Wilkes, and I'm a resident of Watermill. I'm also a member of the Surfrider Foundation. And I'm here on behalf of my family, and in particular my children, who are students at the Ross School and have been part of starting the first Surfrider chapter there. I'm also here as a surfer, an ocean enthusiast, a concerned citizen, and as someone who has experienced firsthand what happens when single-use disposable plastics go unchecked in a community. I'm someone who has experienced swimming in bays and open ocean where it was impossible to leave without a plastic bag stuck to your foot or your body. I've walked once beautiful beaches where I've found, amongst other litter, not only one, but both of Barbie's legs, true story. And I'm here to say that the things contributing to ocean pollution are all around us, from the items in our child's toy box to the takeout bags we collect for our dinner weekly, and that we all need to strive to change all of this. And some will be easy and some will not. But if we could start by skipping the stuff in our takeout food orders, we could lead in conservation and policy. We could show support of local businesses by reducing their overhead, and we could send the message to our other communities that we all need to do better for the future of our oceans. I believe in our community, and I know East Hampton will lead by example and take initiatives to protect our beautiful marine environment. And on behalf of Jillian DeAmbro, she's been a restaurant manager from Montauk to West Hampton for years, and she is willing to help any restaurants out that need their ordering systems updated so that they can be set up without single-use plastics and disposables. And they can speak to her directly. She's in the audience. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, we'll wrap it up.
All right. Hello, members of the East Hampton Village Board. Thank you so much for inviting us here today to give our presentation, and thank you to everyone who shared their comments. It's great to hear that we're all working together on this. My name is Jenna Schwartzman. I work for the Surfrider Foundation as the Eastern Long Island Chapter Coordinator. My role is to oversee the local chapter activities and help organize our volunteers, many of whom are here today. I also brought letters of support from 16 additional people who could not be here so that their comments can be included in the public record. So I'll hand that to you when I'm done.
Thanks.
Before I was an employee, I was a volunteer too, and one of the many reasons I wanted to be part of the Surfrider Foundation is that I am passionate about reducing plastic pollution. I stand before you today to ask that you please introduce a skip the stuff policy to prevent plastic waste. We see evidence of the plastic pollution crisis all around us. Our local volunteers have completed hundreds of beach cleanups over the years, many in the East Hampton area. Of the materials we collect from the beach, plastic is undoubtedly the most pervasive because of the way it lasts in the environment. Plastic has also invaded our health. Microplastics keep making the news every time they are found in a new part of the human body. We are inhaling it, ingesting it, and drinking it, and we don't even understand the potential consequences just yet. We do know that plastics are made with endocrine disruptors and cancer-causing chemicals. Until we understand how microplastics will affect our health, we should use caution. I believe that we can make an incredible impact by changing the plastic use in our eating and drinking habits. During our beach cleanups, Surfrider collects data on all the debris we pick up. Of the top 10 identified items collected on the East End specifically, 8 are made of plastic, and 6 of those are materials used to eat or drink. And while plastic utensils are not in the top 10, they rank close behind food wrappers, plastic bottles, bottle caps, plastic bags, and plastic straws. And those are all materials that Surfrider is working to limit through local chapter campaigns if we haven't already. So reducing plastic from takeout and utensils is the obvious next step. The Surfrider Foundation aims to reduce plastic above all else because we can't beach clean our way out of the plastic problem. And we really want to continue working with you on choosing the right materials because I do hear the concerns about that. It's very confusing. Surfrider does have a foodware guide of what we support and would like to see here in our community. We see Skip the Stuff as a win for all, the restaurants, the customers, and the planet. Let's set the precedent now and stop the need for single-use plastics and takeout. I sincerely hope the East Hampton Village Board will take the initiative to prevent plastic waste. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any board member have anything they'd like to add?
I would. I hear everyone loud and clear, and I think it's a great idea. I do hear Tom Cooper was the only person who actually has a business, and I think that the education component is key, because what I'm hearing is that we're all saying it's great for your overhead, but really it does affect not the restaurants, but people like Fiero's, Tom Cooper, places where you're, like when Mary's Marvelous was here, she tried her hardest to do no plastic. So I think we really need to collaborate and get together with these people to make sure that everyone has the best options and understands. And, it is a big difference, $7,000 versus $10,000. It is the right thing to do, but, for these mom and pop shops, we have to really support them and help them in the right way. So I encourage the Surfrider Foundation to reach out, and I can help you do that. Like, meet with these smaller places and help, continue the conversation and education.
Thank you. Anyone else on the board? Anybody? All right, so I think I can speak for the board, and we're all in agreement of this. Mm-hmm. And I think what we should do is I'm going to ask Deputy Mayor Minority and Trustee Amidon to work with our attorney to craft legislation and work with Surfrider to help us with the alternatives for strictly to-go people, to-go places like Tom has an ice cream store, if you didn't know that, that I frequent way too often. But he, his business is all to go, and it sounds like he's already a step ahead of everybody else, but there are other locations that may not be. So if we can at least have an alternative for them, where to go, what to buy, what is the right thing to do, that would be really helpful when we craft this legislation. So the plan would be, moving forward, we'll come up with the legislation. Then we'll have a public hearing. We'll announce a public hearing on it, and then we'll hear again from everyone about the legislation and what we need to tweak, and then we can tweak it, and then hopefully, get to the point where we can pass it. Hopefully this would all happen before summer. That would probably be the goal, so that we can introduce this new legislation as we move into the summer season. So I thank you all. I think you all did a great job. It's really nice that we have the kids involved and the sixth graders with their posters, and it's really, I think you hit it on the head. If we teach our kids, they'll teach the parents, and moving forward, that's probably the way to go. But our step will be to create the legislation and get this going as soon as we can. And thank you all. That was really terrific today. All right, please do not feel like you have to sit here if you need to get back to work, or we're going to keep going through this very large agenda, but please do not feel like it's an insult if you get up and leave. We're fine with it. Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to give everybody a minute to leave, and then we'll move on.
That was great, Chris. Good showing. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
You come back, you come back. Yeah.
All right, everybody, we're going to move on with our agenda.
To everyone.
I think that our
I know.
president of the LVIS, I see her in the audience, and if you would like to address the board. Yes, please. I know you've been sitting here a long time.
Madam President.
I apologize for jamming so much into this agenda, but a lot of us are going on vacation, and we're trying to clean up as much as we can before the end of the year.
Okay, great.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you.
A lot of familiar faces. Mayor Larson and distinguished trustees, my name, if you don't know it, is Jennifer Tarbett, president for the next 15 days of the Ladies Village Improvement Society of East Hampton. Thank you for bringing forward a draft license agreement for the use of the village garages that is of mutual benefit. The Ladies Village Improvement Society has existed for over 125 years with a resolute mission, the enhancement of East Hampton Village and the vicinity. And thanks to our generous donors and loyal thrift shop people, LVIS has invested several millions of dollars into the maintenance and enhancement of our spectacular community. Proudly proclaimed as one of America's most beautiful villages. And the ladies of the LVS dedicate over 50,000 hours volunteering toward this annually. Our partnership with the village has a direct benefit for the taxpayers and residents of our village. The LVIS revenues directly assist in the care of more than 3,500 trees, 700 memorial plaques, the village greens, numerous historic properties, and along with the garden club, the lovely nature trail. LVIS proudly supports our East Hampton students, awarding over $190,000 in scholarships annually. In my 3 years of president, I have enjoyed a cooperative partnership with the administration and the village departments, which I appreciate. I want to extend my special thanks to Dave Collins, DPW Superintendent, Marcus Bolderon, village administrator, and our steadfast support and friendship, and for Jerry Larson, who has always worked with us very well. I commend all of you for your public service and wish you the happiest and healthy holiday season. I am joined here today by two of my colleagues, Kathy Humphrey, a former LVIS board member and a current Thrift Shop Books chair, and Andrea Cooper, a former board member and president and current finance chair, who will speak briefly on the importance of the organization's use of these village garages. They mean a lot to us. We have grown, spread our wings, we're getting a lot more donations, and they are really an important factor for us. But before I turn it over to those ladies, I'd like you to hear a letter from Patty Farron, who most of you know. Dear East Hampton Village Board, I hope this letter finds you well. The LVS is expressing interest in leasing the garages for a mutually beneficial agreement. Our organization believes these garages could serve as an ideal space for sorting out our donations. I am in full support of the LVIS leasing the garages. Not only will we use them to sort our amazing donations, but we'll also help by maintaining, painting, patching the roof, or anything else that we need. I feel this arrangement will be a win-win for all. Thank you for considering our proposal. We look forward to the possibility of working together to enhance our community. Kind regards, Patty Farron. So I thank you for your consideration. I really appreciate how we've worked together. And I'm going to have next Kathy speak to you, or maybe finance. Maybe let's start with Andrea, finance.
That's terrific. I would just like to thank you, Jen, for 3 years. I've been in office for 3 years, and it's been a pleasure to work with you. The history that I've been in the village a long time, 34 years as in the police department. I've always worked very well, and the LVS has always been very dear to me. And without your organization, without good leadership like all of you sitting here, the village would not be the place it is today. So I thank you for all your hard work. Every one of you are just terrific people, and you put so much time into the village, and we really appreciate everything you've done. Your executive director has been wonderful. Russell, thank you. You've been a real partner with us for the last 3 years, and it's been wonderful working with you. So thank you.
It's been a good agreement between us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're happy to do this for you. So
thank you.
Thanks.
Kathy.
Good afternoon. My name's Kathy Humphrey. I'm chair of the LVIS bookstore, and I am here today to stress how critical the village garages are to the success of our thrift shops. Every week, as you can imagine, about 60 donors deliver an assortment of donations to the village garages, and that's where we receive the donations, at the garages. They vary from books, clothes, shoes, accessories, linens, kitchenware, vases, crystal, dining room sets, rugs, you name it, we get it. There are basically six retail committees that operate the shops. That includes women's clothing, men's clothing, jewelry, housewares, furniture, and books. And they make up over 50 volunteers, and we have to sort, clean, and price all the thousands of donations that come in every year. I can speak specifically about how this works in the books department. We have a group of about 4 or 5 volunteers who meet once a week all year long, in the winter, in the summer, and we work in our books garage. We sort through the donations that have come in during the week. Sometimes we get a few boxes, sometimes we get dozens of boxes, so it takes a while. We sort them into categories, literary categories, and we put these boxes on shelving that we have inside our books garage. And from there, once these books are sorted, the boxes can be moved into our store, where we have additional volunteers who work every week to price the books and shelve them. So that's kind of how it works in the books department. Let's see. So each of these 6 retail committees has its own process for dealing with their donations. And then the donations eventually, of course, end up on the sales floor of what is essentially East Hampton Village's only department store. This successful business that offers affordable merchandise to so many locals and visitors, it all starts in the space that is the LVIS garage. So we appreciate having those garages, and we desperately need to keep them. On behalf of all the retail chairs, I want to thank the board for your consideration on the lease of this space. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mayor Larson. Good morning. And trustees. I'm Andrea Cooper. I'm the finance chair for the Ladies Village Improvement Society. I respectfully ask that you pass Resolution 153 on today's agenda, which approves a 30-year lease with the LVIS. Jen and Kathy spoke a little bit about what the organization does for the community and how the LVIS utilizes the village garages to meet our needs. I want to discuss budgets. The LVIS Board of Directors authorized at its December meeting a budget to be voted on by the full membership in January. That includes over $300,000 in expenses that otherwise would have to be considered by the East Hampton Village Board of Trustees in your budget, and property tax. The 300 plus members of the LVIS, most of them volunteers, hundreds of hours, most of them, I'm sorry, the 300 plus members of the LVIS, most of them volunteers, volunteer over hundreds of hours annually. And they're pleased to be able to commit the organization's net revenues to not only offset village expenses, but expand and enhance our community in areas that government does not always have the means to do. Over just the past 4 years, LVIS sales in the shops and at the fair held on our grounds have increased by nearly 50%. The volume of product donated, processed, and sold has doubled. It is no longer fathomable to do what we do without the garages. This agreement formalizes a process that is already in place. Nothing changes. This contract will protect and formalize a business venture that for decades has been solely dedicated to the betterment of your community. Thank you for your time and consideration on this important resolution.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you all so much. Should we skip to that resolution right now? So we
can get out of here. Why don't we?
Yeah. Why don't we do that? We'll skip right to that resolution. Could you read that one?
Sure.
153.
Resolution number 153 of 2023 approved the 30-year license agreement between the Village of East Hampton and the Ladies Village Improvement Society, LVIS, for the use of the garages. Suffolk County Tax Map number 301-4-5-5.2 for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st of 2053.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. So again, it's not rude if you leave. It's been a long morning. So, no. Happy holidays to all of you. And thank you again. All right. Next up is Jerry Terza.
Happy holidays.
Jerry?
Happy holidays. Thank you. Thanks, Gloria.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of the board, Mr. Belladron. First, and I can say this because he's not here, Mr. Gledhill's situation was a lot more dire than Chief Martin and Jimmy had actually reported. It was not all rainbows and unicorns. By rights, he should not be here. So it's just another example of having the right people with the right equipment in the right place at the right time. Our volunteers and our paid staff work very well together. So just wanted to put that out there. Like I said, I can say that because he's not here. So.
And you're not violating HIPAA.
Exactly.
No, not at all. So before we look at the video, I believe that's where I'm supposed to.
I think they've got it.
Before, I do want to say that the camera does add 20 pounds. So Michael and Chris, if you guys could keep that in mind next time, greatly appreciated. This recruitment video was the brainchild of our village administrator. He pushed for it. We've got one scheduled for EMS as well. We're trying to work out the schedule of getting our people tied down. For it, it was modeled after a video that was done for the beaches and the lifeguard program. Great success there. We're trying to put all the pieces, and I was a little skeptical at first of how it was going to be put together and how it was going to be pulled off. But we worked with the 929 group, Julian Trina up there. Did a great job. We actually had a very unique opportunity with a live fire training exercise to have them come down because for many years we've always relied on traditional word of mouth to get people to join our fire department and the EMS, generational ties, family ties, things like that. And it's still a staple, but our fire department's got a roster of 195. We've got about 140 members in there. So we've got some openings there as well. Our society has changed. Everybody's scrolling during the day, the dreaded doom scroll. So the idea of a video going out on social media platforms, it really made sense. And I think that when you guys see the end result, I think everyone will be pretty impressed. And the fire department's pretty excited about it. So, Jody?
All right, 1 second.
Chip, we got a ripping fire on the inside. The outside's still fine. What do you got for heat at the base?
When responding to a call, you're waking up and going from 0 to 60.
Open that back up on fog.
The adrenaline is definitely something that...
We lost the audio.
You lost the sound, Jody.
This window's gonna blow in a second. We're almost reaching rollover.
The feeling that you get when you help someone, the camaraderie that we have here, there's really no other way to explain it, describe it. We exist for one purpose, and that's to help our neighbors.
It's a way of giving back to the community, whether it's for an actual call or for training evolution. You're dropping what you're doing with your blood family, and you're coming to your other family, the firehouse. When you get to the firehouse, we all try to become one and help each other through anything that we need to do.
So the East Hampton Fire Department is community. We protect an area roughly 31 square miles, so it's a pretty big task. We're one of the largest fire districts on the island.
The volunteer fire service gives us the ability to have all sorts of people from different walks of life.
It's a great mix, and it truly represents the community that we're serving.
Everybody's here for the same reasons. You kind of pull together to make whatever needs to happen, happen.
We train on a variety of different topics, different situations. We plan for different scenarios.
We'll set up all sorts of evolutions from basic victim removal to a live fire scenario where we would create a fire, discuss extinguishment practices as well as the life and safety hazard of that. Towards the end of the evolution, we'll actually go through how to properly extinguish that fire, from starting to approaching the fire in a safe manner and making sure that we all go home safe.
We're constantly trying to upgrade our training, working our evolutions a little bit differently, reevaluating how we do certain things, and we're changing with the times. We recently outfitted all the members of the fire department with new turnout gear, their protective ensembles. We've purchased a lot of new fire apparatus as far as safety systems that are built in. These trucks have multiple purposes, multiple uses.
The most rewarding part of the job would be going home after knowing that you made a difference. You were there to help.
You're going to save somebody or do something or make a difference, not only for the community, but for yourself.
If you're looking for something that's noble, something that's adventurous, this is definitely the thing.
Very nice. It is sad, I mean, because we are losing volunteers, this is not a unique situation to the East End. This is all over the country. We're having problems recruiting volunteers. It's a huge commitment, and it's something that is so important to our community. So if anybody out there feels the need to or the desire to join, we certainly welcome them.
Do you have a quick question?
Not right now. Next up is, we're going to have a discussion about the speed cameras. So we've been getting requests, and I just got another one this morning, about speed humps. So we have a huge problem in our community with our back roads, our side roads, whatever you want to call them, all being used as bypasses to avoid Route 27, which is backed up. So people are speeding on the back roads, and use an example of Further Lane is one of our biggest problems because it's used as a bypass to avoid the village to go east of East Hampton, or coming the other way to avoid Amagansett and East Hampton and use Further Lane. The problem is that these roads are small, and there's no shoulders, and there's no place for bicyclists and joggers and pedestrians. So New York City was just granted the permission to use speed enforcement with cameras. It started out where they were able to use speed enforcement only in school zones and construction zones, and counties were authorized to use them in construction zones. And if you've been driving on the Long Island Expressway or Sunrise Highway, you will see those cars in the construction zones, and it tells you very clearly you must slow down, the fines are higher. And what happens is if you get caught on one of those cameras, you receive a fine in the mail. So there needs to be legislation set up in the state that will allow us to use similar technology within the village. So I have recruited several other mayors on the East End who support the idea, and we have reached out to Fred Thiel, who is working on that legislation. New York City has just been granted the authority to use speed cameras everywhere in New York City, not just in school zones anymore. So that may be the road for us to be able to get legislation through the state to allow villages and towns to use the same technology. This technology would not only make money for the municipality, but it would really be very effective in slowing people down. It would be very well posted, so people who turned off of the main road and went on these roads would know that there was video surveillance, that summonses were going to be issued, and it would really reduce the speeds because nobody wants that. The other thing that this would help is to change the way these traffic apps work. Because right now, even a tourist driving through East Hampton will be directed, if they're going to Montauk, let's say, they'll be directed down Dunmere and Further Lane to avoid the congestion on Main Street and Amagansett. So by thorough enforcement, eventually the traffic app will not direct people onto these side roads. It'll keep you on the main road because you're not going to make up the time that you think you're going to make, and it'll make our streets safer. So I think it's a very important step to do it, to get the legislation. But in the meantime, we were given a presentation by this company that we can buy these things now, put them out, deploy them, and what'll happen is we can still sign it that speed is enforced or regulated by this technology. And then this company will also generate a letter. If they have a violator, they'll send a letter to the register on the vehicle, like on such and such date, your vehicle was speeding on such and such street at such and such speed. So I think, and it would give us a lot of data. So if we deploy this summer while we're waiting for legislation, the police department will be able to deploy it on different streets, gain the data of what the average speed is. So if we get complaints on roads where the neighbors are complaining that we have a lot of speeding, we deploy this camera, it's there, it will slow people down, we'll get an exact number of how fast the cars are going, how many vehicles are traveling on the road, and it would be a big help, I think. The village administrator sat through the presentation, and if you want to comment a little bit about it, please.
I think you just said it all. I mean, really, it's killing two birds in one stone. I know the board wants to address the comprehensive plan update in early 2024, and I think having data is crucial to that, traffic data throughout the village. So these mobile units they cost about $29,000 per unit, but they're going to be highly effective in pushing traffic back onto the main roads, back onto 27. So, for example, Dunmere Lane, even just forgetting the ticket almost right now, you could just issue warnings and get people to go back onto the main road. So it's really up to the board to decide what it wants to do, but it's just becoming more and more of a problem. Another issue is Waze. The app Waze will start marking it as an area where they don't want people to go through right now. So Uber right now is being sent through those back roads, and I think it'll push it right back onto 27 that way. It's just another solution.
Yeah, I mean, I received another email today from residents on Cove Hollow that want speed humps, and they're very expensive. We did a trial period last summer on Highway Beyond the Pond, and we installed 3 humps, and it was $20,000 just for that 3. So it really would affect our budget if we're going to do every street in the village of East Hampton, and I don't think it's practical. So I think something like this would really slow it down, and you really need to change the apps, because the apps are what are directing people to use these side roads. So anybody have any comments?
Yes. Can I just ask a question first? When if we get these cameras, how much above the speed limit do people get a ticket for?
Well, that's a question we could ask the
That's to you?
No, I was saying we could ask the company what they recommend. It's usually, with radar, it's usually, correct me if I'm wrong, it's usually plus or minus 5, right?
9.
Can you please stop? It's not public comment time,
Board
David.
discussion.
Just please.
The question, I'll give you the answer.
David, please.
Our police officers are trained plus or minus 3 miles an hour. We'll correct that. Officer's estimation is plus or minus 3. It's a discretionary thing if you want to.
Jack, I'm sorry. Can you come up?
10, 15. No.
Jack, could you answer the question at the podium?
Yeah, sorry. It's just for the record. Sorry.
Morning, board. Lieutenant Jack Bartleby, I'm filling in for the chief right now. He's on vacation. The question being, when do we offer?
What would the grace period be, in your opinion, on the?
Most officers give you 10 to 15 miles an hour at the minimum. We have a slower speed limit in the village of 25 miles an hour in most places. So when you get near the 40-mile-an-hour zone, that's when you're probably going to be issued a ticket. There's warnings from anywhere in between there, but a summons usually around 40 miles an hour on most roads. Again, that's up to the officer. Some have a bigger gap. Some are more near the 10-mile-an-hour zone.
I mean, with our speed limit being 25, if someone's going 40 or above, they deserve a ticket. And I like the camera because it can be moved, right? The camera can be moved around. It will teach people the only way they're going to learn. And I'm not a big fan of speed bumps because everyone wants them now. And the streets can easily mobilize, and it's extremely expensive. I think there's a lot of upkeep with the bumps. There's snow plowing. They're loud. And I'm not a huge fan of the speed bumps in the village, but this seems like an opportunity to. People are not going to listen unless they get a ticket, in my opinion.
Well, we
And-
still can't
50 miles
do,
an hour would be a good.
we still can't do the summons until we get the legislation from the state.
Right, but that's the
We
direction
could
that
still
we
issue
are.
warnings, we could still, and hopefully it would affect ways.
How many cameras are you thinking of getting? And it would move around, or it would be?
Yeah, it's portable.
So it'd be one?
No, three to four mobile units throughout the village that, again, you could move. Because usually what happens is, we just had another a complaint on Fithian, right? And then the PD went down to Fithian, and then all of a sudden it's not a problem anymore because people notice that people are on Fithian or police officers on Fithian, right?
Target enforcement for people to realize that mostly it's the same people coming every day to do a work project, et cetera. They realize it and then it stops, but it pops up on the next
It'll
road.
pop up
We'll
on
never
Mill Hill.
fully stop it anywhere. I mean, it depends on what's going on in that area. There's streets in the village that have 15 construction projects going on currently. That's a big part of the speeding, or the day labor people that come in, the contractors that come in and out of the village during the day. That's what, we get a lot of the complaints around first thing in the morning and late in the afternoon when they're heading home again.
So I have a couple thoughts. I think this is a very good idea because it's a gigantic problem and people are not slowing down and we don't have enough help to slow everyone down. But how it will go towards their, how it will affect their points on their license, or is it just a village thing?
The lieutenant could answer
It
that.
can't affect their license because we can't identify the driver. You're going to issue a summons to the vehicle.
Just to the
and
vehicle.
The vehicle's going to pay like a parking ticket.
Okay.
It will not affect the actual drivers.
Okay.
At least that's in the past. These systems don't. It's like the red light cameras in New York City. It gets the car, and the car gets a summons, and it's like a parking ticket. It doesn't affect you. It's not a moving violation per se. It doesn't affect your actual physical driver's license.
And so the person would receive it in the mail and then have to.
The registered owner of that vehicle will receive it.
Okay.
That might not be the person that owns the vehicle. It's usually a contractor. It's going to come back to a company, and that's where those would go.
Okay. And do we know how long that process is? Because the only thing I think is it doesn't immediately slow everybody down. It's
Okay, the ones on, I have to tell you, I just got a ticket for this, the ones on the LIE where the construction are. I got it 2 days later in the mail for going 10 miles over in a work zone, so it's pretty fast.
All right, that's good.
And
$50.
And how fast were you going?
You're on the Carrie, you're on the record. You're on the record.
Threshold.
I just don't know, I was going 10 miles an hour.
So there's the answer.
The village attorney.
But I think that's effective. If it's a 2-day turnaround, that's effective as if it's a month, it's long
Well, the
gone.
cameras themselves will be the deterrent, because there'll be signage when you turn. Let's say you turn on Dunmere, there'll be a sign that speed is enforced by camera.
Right.
So if
And I mean, just saying right now, if we give people a 15-mile-per-hour grace period, and this is publicized now, then if the speed limit's 25, people are going to go.
You have them go 39 miles an hour then.
he's talking about a police officer who has broad discretion.
The machine you're going to choose,
Yeah.
but an officer sitting on the road it's all based. You walk up to a car based on their I didn't know officer, or they're polite, or a million things can come into.
What else? No, I'm just kidding.
A crying.
One officer just goes out there and instantly issues a ticket for.
Right.
Okay. The machine will do that, and if you want the machine to do it for 15 miles an hour, or 10 miles, or 12 miles an hour, that's whatever you guys choose.
We have streets like Further, Lily Pond, Cooper. There's a couple that are just racetracks. I think this would be a great idea because, again, if a police officer parks their car there, it deters people, but you can't always park a police car there.
Can't be everywhere.
And so I like this idea a lot more than speed bumps.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Janet. All right. Anybody else have any comments about this, or we'll just move forward with it?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, sir. We got public comment now.
Oh,
You have to come up. Oh, sorry.
here I am. I'm just
Closer.
closer. Yeah, it was a lot closer. I was here last month. I have with me a few neighbors, but I also have letters from every single neighbor. And I'm hearing you don't want us to pay for speed bumps, but LaForest Lane is a very dangerous road. And without speed bumps, we would like a one-way.
No, we get that. We're not
reminding you.
making that
Yeah.
decision
But
today.
I have, like all this paper for you now.
We were going to put it on for a public hearing
Yeah.
in
January.
today,
Yeah.
but then we moved it to January.
Okay.
And now we moved it to February, only because some of us are not here in January.
And some of us are not here in January, so we're showing up in December.
Right.
So just don't forget it.
No, that's great. We could
Make it part of the record.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else for public comment? Anybody else? David, yes.
Don't worry about me. I'll just sit back.
No, I didn't see you back there.
I just want to raise a few points regarding speed cameras in New York City. I worked with them for the past 11 years as heading of Vision Zero in terms of putting all the speed cameras up. First, the law was passed. They could be within like a half mile of schools, but could only be on from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Right.
So we had 400 cameras, but only 140 could be on at one time. But we didn't tell anybody, because everyone saw the speed cameras. And in terms of public information, we mailed postcards to everyone within 12 zip codes around there, telling them, beginning this date, this is what's going to happen. So it's something that you may want to take in consideration. And you're right, you can't give someone a ticket, you give a car a ticket. And that's only good for like three times. Then you could go after the owner of the car. So just something to consider. I just want to quickly give you some good news about pickleball.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a sport, but however, last month, the U.S. Pickleball Association approved a racket delivering more than 50% reduction in total noise. They may want to take a look into that. Moreover, there's also construction. They have a cushioning court surfaces to absorb more sound. And I listened to the video of the racket, and it sounds less than a tennis racket. So I would encourage you to take a look at that.
That's good news.
And the company's called Owl that makes it.
Owl.
Owl, and it's been approved by the U.S. pickleball people. Now I want to talk about the forest. Everyone, I heard everyone last week, 2 weeks ago, and I just want to have them understand that as of now, converting a two-way road to one-way creates speed because there's more room in it. So the only way they can fix that, obviously, is to develop islands on it. They call them classicals or something, which brings the streets out. Basically, according to NHTSA, which is part of DOT, two-way streets have been found to be safer than one-way streets. One-way streets correlate with higher speeds and decreased levels of driver attention. Pedestrians prefer crossing a two-way street since drivers tend to travel more slowly on them, and on two-way streets, conflicts are more predictable. Now, there's three parts of traffic safety: engineering, enforcement, and engineering, enforcement, and education. Engineering, you could narrow the roads, you could put chicanes there, speed bumps, signage, corner, beware of the children, a corner ahead. We can add a bike lane. You can add sidewalks, so you create one lane. But I mean, because I went down those roads, like I did big store check. They could easily accommodate two cars if they're going the correct speed. The problem is if you just put a sign up one way, there's going to be problems. So you really have to look at the whole engineering of that, and the issues that were raised, the woman saying that the people in Jericho are never there, they're only there in the summer. Well, that's where the traffic is, So it's a question of basically, what's the best solution to all this? And I would say you can hire a company like Sam Schwartz, who used to be a DOT commissioner. He's got a consulting firm. He can tell you the impact on overall roads, and it won't be that expensive. At least we'll be doing the right thing first, versus let's try this and let's try this, let's try that. That's all I'm asking.
All right.
So those are my comments.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Corey Shields.
By the way, I'm so sorry. So sorry. One of the issues that was raised there's so much construction traffic. Why don't we just stagger the building permits? So every, you know?
All right, thanks.
Who wants to say, oh, wait a year?
Hi, I'm Corey Shields. I live on La Forest, 11 La Forest, and this is a serious problem. Someone talked about a raceway. This is absolutely a speedway in the morning and in the afternoon with all the construction traffic. But it is an accident waiting to happen. There's too much traffic going too fast on a road that is narrow. It is, if you look at it, if you're walking on it, and I encourage all of you to experience it, take a walk on La Forest, especially in the morning or later in the afternoon. If two trucks are coming at one another, you can't have two trucks pass one another. One has to go up onto the shoulder or on someone's road or on someone's lawn. So it's just simply not wide enough. So somebody was saying, you were saying that the street is wide. It is not wide enough for the volume of traffic and the speed of the traffic. So we do have a problem here. And, you know, you take your life in your hands. You know, everyone can talk about it, but if you experience it, it's completely different. We live there. We walk our dogs there. We ride our bikes on the street. And you really are, you know, there's so many close calls. So I encourage all of you to really consider this one-way thing, unless you have a better solution. But again, too much traffic going too fast on a road that is just not wide enough to accommodate it. And I understand what he's saying, that people are going to go faster. Experience it. Spend a little time on La Forest and you'll see it. And especially with the traffic, the construction traffic, in the morning at 7 o'clock, it is a raceway. And it happens again at 4 in the afternoon. So, or even putting up, as I used to see on Dumaire, those signs that will tell you how fast you're going, maybe that would be, you know, a solution. But there is a problem here.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Someone's going to get killed when you add in the pedestrian traffic, the joggers, as you were talking about, and the people walking to the beach. It is the main road to go to the beach. Someone's going to get hurt. So, as I said, accident waiting to happen.
Curves.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And it's the main thoroughfare. It's the first cutoff. You can't go by the pond, you can't by the coast. You have people coming heading to Applecross and all that area. These huge homes being built. It's like a factory. They come in, starting time.
Could you come up to the podium just to say that? It's just so people at home could hear you. Sorry.
And if you could just give your name so we have it for.
Terry Coombs. I live on the Forest Lane.
Thank you.
And, get that, Gabby?
Terry Coombs.
Yeah.
That's our main problem. I think if it were a normal street, but it's that first connector from Georgica Road to get back to that area. It's the closest route.
Right.
And it's two-way. So you get both things, and with the amount of construction going on, it's not just normal cars. It is cement trucks, it is trucks hauling bulldozers and earth moving equipment, landscaping equipment, and then you have all the people who are established and live there. They have their own work yard people, their own contractors and electricians and whatnot coming in, and it just becomes, it's a constant, it's a raceway. The two curves, the heavy landscaping, and it's not a very wide street. But the thing is the amount of traffic with the construction and the location of the street. It's the main connector from Georgica down to the bigger neighborhoods down by the ocean. And that's why there's so much traffic on the Forest. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are putting this on for a public hearing in February. And I encourage everyone, yeah, it's in February, because we're not here in January. So I encourage everyone to submit their emails, letters, and we'll take all that into the record before any decisions are made.
I think someone else wanted to speak.
Yeah, I was just wanted to add that. Sir?
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Jakes. I represent the owner of 49 La Forest. He asked me to come here and just emphasize the need for something to be done. As has already been stated, the speed of the traffic going up and down the street, the volume, it's incredible. The dangers of just pulling in or out of your own driveway are high. And then you add to that, as has been stated, the pedestrian traffic, people on bicycles, people walking their dogs. It's a narrow lane with the blind curves. It's extremely dangerous. And so we just ask you to give serious thought, serious consideration to what can be done to make it a safer street. Thank you.
Thank you. Billy? Since we've delayed this until February, do you think we could commission a traffic study now instead of waiting until February? And if we decide to do it, then we're going to be dragging this on more. Does the board agree with that?
Would a traffic study also, I'd like to see it for the summer months because, we don't have much traffic now and there's a lot of streets back there that are encumbered by construction.
Well,
if we started it, would it be a year-round traffic study?
Well, my thought was that the obvious question is, by making this a one-way street, to David's point, are we going to make it worse? The second point would be, where is the traffic going to go? Because that's going to be the other, I'm sure, I've already gotten a couple of letters from Jericho people, Jericho Lane.
End road.
Complaining that they don't want this. So I think it's important that, since we have this delay, that if we could get a traffic study, at least get their recommendations on what they think, rather than just wait until February and then we say, oh, let's do a traffic study.
Yeah, there's multiple ways. I mean, you could certainly, we could put out a request we can engage a traffic engineer to look at this. I think there's multiple methods or approaches that they can take. One is they can analyze the current road situation and hypothesize about what the outcome might be by converting it to a one-way street, where the other traffic might end up. That's typically what a basic fundamental traffic study will look at. The second part could be, to Chris's point, or Ms. Minardi's point, would be, gathering more data, which is traffic counts. That can be done in multiple ways with counters, or an engineer could station, people out there to physically count cars, because, part of the problem is you want to register also the type of vehicle that's going down the road, not just vehicle passes, but the type of vehicle. So there's multiple ways to do it. We would, we don't have a traffic engineer on staff or on hand, but as a professional service, we could certainly engage somebody to do that.
If the board agrees, I think we should do that now. Get that in the works.
Sure.
And then at least we'll have data.
Or begin to gather the data.
Start to gather data that will help make a decision.
Sure.
And, maybe the traffic engineer comes in and says, this is extremely dangerous, and agrees with all the residents, and doesn't believe pushing that much traffic is going to be pushed on Jericho. And maybe it'll alleviate some of this whole issue.
Sure.
Or maybe they'll have another idea that we're not even thinking about. So
what about...
maybe we make it a dead end.
What about so for an immediate help, because I'm listening to the residents there, and that sounds scary and dangerous. So, someone said putting the traffic, the speed sign up. Is there anything we could do now that doesn't require a lot a
Well, we could put the speed trailer there, but there's no place to put it.
Monday mornings at 7 o'clock, post a policeman and start issuing tickets. The construction and the maintenance is why?
Put a speed camera there and a clock at the end of the street, plug them over.
Right, but we can't get that.
Other questions for me?
Good. Thanks.
We should do something now, yeah.
I don't think a maintenance company is going to balk at paying tickets. Who cares? They're going to pay $50? So what? You need points on a license to really slow down.
I agree.
So I don't think that's a solution. The company that owns the truck, they're going to pay $50.
I don't know if it's repeated, you think?
But I think that immediately, could we get someone to go there and just slow people down?
Police department can put somebody there.
Who are driving that need the ticket, not the vehicle.
Yes, I agree.
I agree, Sarah. Maybe we can try to coordinate with the police department on enhanced oversight of the street. I think that's something that we can do right away.
Officer that just left here a little while ago, he experienced it firsthand, and he actually got in the center of the road and tried to stop a truck that was speeding, and the truck wasn't stopping. And then he got into a little argument with the driver of the truck. You see a police officer in the streets telling you to slow down, and the guy was just going to go around him. So you do have officers that were there. They were called for another issue, but they experienced it firsthand. They were there at 4:30 when the race begins again.
Okay. That's good.
What I was saying is, I think that's something we can definitely do now, which helps It seems that like the residents of the street want that. I would like, or at least my opinion is to take some time. I need to be convinced a little bit more that through traffic studies and where the traffic's going to go, I don't want to make legislation based upon construction, because we all deal with construction and it goes through phases, and sometimes there's no construction, and making a street one way because there's X amount of projects on it now. I don't know, just please let me finish. It's okay, I know, but again, this is a
Never going away.
of course, but you know, this is an issue that's happening on every street in the village, especially south of the highway, where there's money to maintenance every day. So yes, studies would be helpful, and also I'd love to see the neighboring areas, but I'm all in favor right now of getting some more attention to that street so we can gather as much information as we can and keep it safe.
Or slow people down now.
Yeah.
Because just to reiterate, this is, other streets have a lot of traffic, but they don't have these two curves that this street has. So every time I go down that road, I'm like holding my breath that someone's not going to come around that curve that I can't see, and they do.
Right, and I agree with you. I grew up very close to that too, but I mean, people in Jericho have got my ear. People around, and so like again, I mean, to turn a right onto LaForest, you basically have to stop because it's a hairpin turn.
Yeah.
So there's acceleration that's happening, which maybe we can work on that. But yes, there are blind corners. It's narrow. There's a lot of work. It's on the way to a destination, the beach. We get it. So I want to help, but I need more data.
All right, so let's start with enforcement.
Yep.
And which should have already been happening since the chief was here at the last time you spoke. So we'll reinforce that, make sure that's getting done. And Bill, if you can get us a traffic engineer, and we'll get that going at the same time, and then hopefully we'll have some more information by February. And
But it's a thoroughfare. I mean, yes, there are a lot of streets in the village, but they're little streets.
I think our only concern,
There's a lot of.
I think our only concern, we all agree with everything you've all said here today. I think our only concern is where are we pushing the traffic to? Are we just going to cause another problem somewhere else? I think that's all we're concerned with, and I think...
Divide the wealth here.
Right. Divide the misery.
But as you said,
But then people on the other street are like...
Can I just say one thing? But over time, the community has grown. So clearly, the street was not designed for the amount of traffic it currently has.
Probably none of our streets are.
I agree with that. So now you have so much traffic on LaForest, and I get your point. You're going to push it over to Jericho, but this street wasn't designed for this volume. So what happens? Then the solution is just more traffic on LaForest? So, you know, if there's a better solution, fine. But for the short term, so Jericho gets a little bit more traffic, and we have a little less traffic, then it makes it a little bit better for the people on LaForest. Is that bad?
If you live on Jericho, probably.
But why, though? Because, but you have residents on LaForest who, when they bought it, it wasn't all that bad, but now we've been there and time has passed and the volume and traffic just grows and grows and grows.
I agree with everything you say, but every street in the village has a traffic problem.
We just want to get...
Well, there's a solution for this, but look, I'm open
course.
to any solution.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
I
which
agree.
just
But
has
that's why I think if we bring in an expert, maybe we can even get more data, more info.
a solution.
Yeah.
I mean, I live on a dead-end street, and there's lots of traffic, you know, and so...
All right.
Yeah, we need to.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, all right.
All right, we need to move on.
All right, we're going to motions and resolutions.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Enjoy your holiday.
Good.
Resolution number 119, 2023, approve claim vouchers for the month of November.
So
Motion to
moved.
accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 120, approve warrants as listed. General Fund number 24, 26, and 27. Guarantees number 23. LoSAP number 25. And Capital Fund number 28.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 121, approve budget transfers scheduled number 2, reference number 3, dated December 2023.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Are we supposed to be doing that
Yeah, we just skipped, I think, the public hearing.
for dog control?
Dog control. We left it open at the last.
We usually have to close it before we can.
Good job.
Thank you, Gabby.
Introductory number 13 of 2023, a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 68, Animals, Article 1, Dog Control.
Does anyone want to be heard on this issue?
Did he just bark?
Any board member would like to chime in? Yeah. It's dog control.
I get it, I'm for
Motion
this. I think leash laws are
Motion to
okay.
accept.
Second.
Hearing is closed. Thank you, Gabby. She's already filling in for Pam very well.
Yeah, good job, Gabby.
Resolution number 122, 2023, approved departmental reports.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 123, resolved the 2023-2024 village budget is hereby amended to increase estimated revenue and appropriations in the amount of $427,905.01 for expenditures related to paving restorations.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 124, resolved the 2023-2024 village budget is hereby amended to increase estimated revenue and appropriations in the amount of $225,000 for expenditures related to the EMS, police, and fire departments.
Motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 125, resolved the 2023-2024 village budget is hereby amended to increase appropriations from the undesignated fund balance in the amount of $141,659.75 for the Herrick Park basketball courts.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 126, approve the appointment of the investment management firm East End Financial Group as the registered investment advisor for the Village of East Hampton Volunteer Fire Department Service Awards Program, effective January 1st, 2024.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 127, approve the Village of East Hampton updated investment policy per the December 12th, 2023 memo from Marcos Belladrone.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 128, approve all financial documents, transactions relating to the Village of East Hampton Volunteer Fire Department Service Awards Program, East End Financial Group, and the custodian, BNY Pershing LLC, signature authorization will be issued by the authorized signers, Village Administrator Marcos Balladrone and Village Treasurer Dominique Cummings.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 129, approve the 3-year proposal from Firefly Admin, Inc. in the amount of $9,750 plus processing fees each year to provide actuarial and administration services January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026 service period to the Fire Department Length of Service Award Program, LOSAP.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 130, approve the Northwest Fire Protection District Fire and Ambulance Services Agreement and the East Hampton Water Supply District Fire and Ambulance Services Agreement for the 2024 and 2025 year between the Town of East Hampton and the Village of East Hampton in the amount of $3,619,488 for 2024 and $3,764,268 for 2025, effective January 1st of 2024.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 131, approve $16,471 quote from Lincoln IT for Duo multi-factor authentication for the village computer email system setup fee with a $450 monthly security platform.
Motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 132, approve $3,024.40 quote from Lincoln IT for Azure single sign-on for the village computer email system setup with a $32.40 monthly directory premium.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 133, approve $2,275 quote from Outdoor Lighting Perspectives to replace broken light fixtures and accessories at various village locations.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 134, approve Derrick and Crawford Landscape Architects as a consultant for landscape architect services.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 135, approve the $108,993.81 quote from Stryker Medical for replacement, trade-in of 3 LifePak monitors, and approve $50,620.09 quote to purchase 1 LifePak monitor.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 136, approve request from Guildhall to waive the $70,854.62 fee associated with their building permit renewal, covering construction related to the renovation of their building, and whereas the Village Board of Trustees is inclined to grant this request based upon Guildhall's status as a 501c3 not-for-profit corporation which provides a cultural benefit in addition to a variety of highly useful services within the local community.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 137, approve the $1,295 purchase of cloud backup service from GeForce Data for an annual subscription, the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st of 2024.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 138, approve agreement between the YMCA East Hampton Rec Center and the East Hampton Fire Department dive team for the use of facilities at the YMCA for training purposes at no charge.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 139, approve the employment of Michael D. Arkinson as a part-time police officer at the rate of $30 per hour effective December 22nd, 2023.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 140, approve the correction to Resolution Number 106 of 2023 in reference to Tiana Middleton's start date effective retroactively to October 31st, 2023.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 141, accept the November 28th, 2023 East Hampton Village Ambulance Association election results for the year of 2023 to 2024. Mary Mott as president, Mary Ellen McGuire as vice president, Laura Van Binsbergen as treasurer, and Susie Dayton secretary.
Motion to accept.
We have to correct that. It's just, it should be 2024, January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. The election's held in November, but they don't take office till January. So that's just the only correction. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 142, accept the $476,000 bid received from Carter Mellons for repair of the Emergency Services Building Public Meeting Room at 1 Cedar Street as per the November 2nd bid specifications. Expenditure to be paid from the Capital Reserve Fund. This resolution is adopted, subject to permissive referendum.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
It's your turn now, Sarah. You can.
Okay.
Thanks.
Number 143, approve the $15,000 quote from the Rayner Group for construction monitoring and contract administration for the Emergency Services Building Public Meeting Room.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 144, accept the $19,985 bid received from Beecham Recreation for the purchase of public use outdoor ADA compliant drinking fountains as per the November 17th bid specifications.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 145, accept the $68,007.45 bid received from BK Builders for the front lobby renovation at the Emergency Services Building, 1 Cedar Street, as per November 17th bid specifications to be paid from the assigned fund balance.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 146, accept the $134,683.51 bid received from BK Builders for new roof installation at Home Sweet Home Museum located at 14 James Lane per November 17th bid specifications. Expenditures to be paid from the Capital Reserve Fund. This resolution is adopted subject to permissive referendum.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Yes, you.
What does it mean by permissive referendum?
It's because the funds are being pulled out of the capital reserve, we have to allow the public 30 days to essentially to notice them. So we have 10 days to notice, right, Gabby? And then 30 days for them to, to see if they want it or not, to hear them. It's out of the reserve. It's a specific fund. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 147, accept the $63,000 bid received from Patrick Montgomery for the lease of Sea Spray Cottage Number 1 as per November 17th bid specifications.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 148, notice to bidders for fence replacement at Millstone Park located at 61 Main Street, Suffolk County Tax Map number 301-3-6-24.2, with the bid specs available on December 15th, 2023, and the bid opening to be held January 9th, 2024, at 2:00 p.m. at Village Hall.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 149, notice to bidders for the lease of Seaspray Cottage number 14 with the bid specs available on December 15th, 2023, and the bid opening to be held January 9th, 2024 at 2 p.m. at Village Hall.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 150, approve All Service Electric Incorporated as our electrical contractor under Suffolk County contract on a will call basis.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 151, approve the East Hampton Village Emergency Medical Service rules and regulations effective immediately, per EMS Chief Mary Mott.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 152, approve the refund of $1,239.29 tax payment penalty to village residents Seth and Tony Bernstein, per Administrator Marcos Balladrone.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 154, approve quote from ADP for payroll software, benefits administration, and outsourced human resource services for up to $62,000 per year for a 3-year agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 155, approve $3,200 a month quote from Puzzle HR for managed payroll services within ADP software for a 1-year agreement.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 156, approve $7,974.70 quote from CDWG for video conferencing equipment for the Fire Council conference room.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 157, approve increase of Rona Plinton's salary to $70,000, annual salary to $70,000 effective January 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 158, approve resignation of Gabrielle McKay as Secretary to the Planning Board effective January 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 159, approve appointment of Lindsay LaPointe to the position of Secretary to the Planning Board at the annual starting salary of $60,000 effective January 16th, 2024.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 160, notice for public hearing to be held on January 19th, 2024 at 11 a.m. at LTV Studios, 75 Industrial Road, Wainscott, at which time all interested persons will be heard with respect to a 10-year franchise renewal agreement between the Village of East Hampton and Altice USA.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 161, notice for public hearing to be held on January 19th, 2024 at 11 a.m. at LTV Studios, 75 Industrial Road, Wainscott, for introductory number 14, 2023, a proposed local law amending Chapter 278 2B, residential zoning districts, and 278 2D, commercial and core commercial zoning districts.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 162, adopt local law, introductory number 13, 2023, a proposed local law amending the Code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 68, Animals, Article 1, Dog Control.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 163, accept retirement of Pamela J. Bennett as village clerk stenographer with an effective retirement date of January 16th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. That concludes our meeting for today. I would like to get a motion to close.
So moved.
Second. And the meeting is closed. Happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you.
And thank you for sitting through such a long meeting.